Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first episode of 2022 and the brand new season of Paranormal Tuesday with me, Jared Warren. So let me know out there who is watching with us this evening and how we're all doing. It's great to be back. Got a bit of a fun-filled show for you all today. So let me know who is watching with us this evening. Just put this on silent. All right, Carl and Maggie is on. Good evening, guys. Hope you're doing all right. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve. I know I spoke to you obviously just before Christmas, but I hope you had a good Christmas, New Year, and whatever 2022 you have wished for, hopefully all comes true. Anita, good evening. How you doing? Hope you're okay. Hope you had a good New Year's, and I know obviously you were on at the Christmas one, but I hope you had a good Christmas as well. So it is great to finally be back. We've got quite a bit planned, as I sort of mentioned on the last live I did as well. Mark and carry on. Good evening, guys. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're good. Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. Thank you very much for the Christmas cards as well. It's very, very much appreciated, mate. So that does lead me on to, while Mark is literally just logged on, don't forget we are sponsored by Paranormal Technology, Paratech, who are, as I mentioned, based in Northern Ireland. All our equipment is from Mark at Paranormal Technology, and it's the best stuff out there, as you all know. You've seen us use it, and got some absolutely amazing evidence through our equipment, which is all from Mark at Paranormal Technology. So make sure you check them out, guys. If you haven't, I know I'm sure many of you have, but if you haven't, make sure you go over, have a look. And as I mentioned, 10% off your first order once you've liked and showed them that you've liked, Paranormal Living. So win-win, and it's a reasonable price, so you can't go wrong with that one. So let me know who else is watching. It doesn't always tell me who's watching if you don't comment. So let me know who is on with us this evening as well. So, as I mentioned, a few things to talk about in this week's episode and a bit of a rundown into what we do have planned as well. So I vaguely mentioned this in the last live, but we are going to talk about that as well as this week's question of the week as well. So, in regards to this show, our Paranormal Tuesday, it is now going to be weekly, apart from next week, because I am away. So there will be not one next week, but then from the week after that, it'll be every Tuesday at 7:30. We're back to normal, and we've got some really cool topics, and every week's going to be a topic as well. And then obviously we'll go over the questions of the week as well, as usual. So yeah, there's it's going to be exciting, and of course the lives and live investigations. But first of all, I do want to say, if you don't mind sharing, guys, for us, the live. I'm just going to do that now. I meant to do it just before I started, but I did forget. So do forgive me. Hey, Mark, it's coming up nearly 12 months now since first time we got in contact. Obviously for all the equipment. So a big shout out and obviously a big thank you for everything as well, Paul. Sorry, everyone. I do apologise about this. I meant to do this before we just started. But I set it up today, but the music started straight away. So there it is. Okay, that's shared. Right, so yeah, into this week's episode. So, as I mentioned, of the next however many episodes we've got, like I say, it's going to be running weekly. Every week's a topic or an interview. So, I'm in contact with a few people, so that's some exciting news, including mediums and a few other things we've got planned. So, we'll be able to do these live now. Because I know a few of you did say you'd like to sort of see the things live rather than me pre-recorded having a chat, and then you can get your questions in and be a part of it as well. So we're going to sort that out. Excuse me. Can you all hear me okay? It should be okay. Different mic today. Yeah, honestly, Mark, I said this. So when I was working on, as I mentioned, because I haven't been able to do that much over December, just as many of you know I'm a singer, so it's like been the busiest time of the year. So literally barely had any time on my hands. And I was saying that in my gig on New Year's Eve. I'm like, where's this year gone? It's like over the past 2 years, obviously the COVID and everything, it's just flown by. So hopefully, touch wood, we are in for a normal year, hopefully. I can pray and hope anyway. So, hey, Carrie's on with us as well. Good evening. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year as well. So it is great to be back, and like you say, it's going to be more regular now because as I mentioned, it did get a bit. It was hit and miss all the time, and things weren't as regular as we'd wanted to be. So, as I mentioned, topic. So the next podcast, next Tuesday one, which is 2 weeks today, when episode 2 will be out, we're going to talk about Alcatraz. So I'm going to give you a bit of a heads up. So haunted locations like that. But the main one is Alcatraz. It's a place I went to visit when I was younger, because it's something I've always been interested in. Went on holiday with my mum and my dad. So yeah, it's the place which I don't think I probably appreciate as much as I would now. So it's a place definitely to go back. But we are going to talk about some of like the haunted experiences people have had in regards to Alcatraz and a few other places, like that as well. Oh no, well we're covering from COVID, locked in with Mark isn't easy. Oh well, I hope you're both okay. Hope you're both sort of feeling a bit better. It's my brother and some of my family ended up suffering with COVID as well over Christmas. So they were, I think it was a day after Christmas Day, something like that. It all come down. So touch wood, we've been okay, thankfully. But yeah, I hope you do both feel better soon. So this week's episode, that's what I was going to say. It's gone now. I had it wrote down somewhere. This is it. I've got it now. Sorry, guys. I'm just happy to be back. So yesterday, I released a podcast. So we had the first podcast as well, season 3 of the Paranormal Living podcast on Apple, Google Podcast, and Podbean. So if you want to go over and take a listen, it'd be very much appreciated. This week's topic was tarot cards. So I did a bit of a brief, but that again, the thing is with the podcast, we're going to go back and look at certain subjects. So obviously, when we're interviewing the mediums, we're going to talk about tarot cards and private readings and things. But I want to first off talk about this week's question of the week. So, oh, good. I'm glad you're both okay. So this week's question of the week was in regards to cursed objects. So, do you believe in cursed objects? And if so, have you ever had any experience with cursed objects? Or maybe you've been to a location and seen things. So that was this week's question of the week. So obviously that's what we're going to talk about now. Before we do move into a few more things. So I want your comments, guys. Do you believe in cursed objects? And if so, have you ever had any experience, or do you know any stories you'd like to share with us? Put it in the comments section. It'd be very much appreciated. And we'll have a bit of a discussion about this. Because I definitely believe in cursed objects. There's a lot of weird experiences people have. Part of me, on certain situations, do think, could it just be a coincidence? Like, there was a story when the was it Tutankhamun, I can't speak, when they opened the grave and obviously took everything out. Apparently it was cursed, and then within, I think it was within 12 months or 6 to 12 months, a few people who was like a sort of the main guys involved within this, taking the stuff out and being involved in the excavation of the tomb, end up passing away. I think one was hit by a bus, I think it was. So yeah, I do. Part of me was like, is that just a coincidence? But like I say, apparently it was cursed, and I think there's about five of them who did have a lot of weird experiences, and unfortunately met the end within the 12 months of opening the tomb. So we got one by Anita here. I've never had an experience of cursed objects, but yes, I think you can get them. Carrie, I haven't come across cursed objects, although I do 100% believe that energies can attach themselves to them. Well, this is the thing. So there was a story as well about William Shakespeare, that apparently he's buried with his scripts and his writings and everything. And the person who, if he was ever dug up, this curse will be, you'll be cursed or whatever. And obviously think dodgy things are going to happen. So there is these stories of a lot of famous people and a lot of things over history about cursed objects. But I think partly sometimes it's not even that it's always cursed, it's the energy on the object or within the place. As where was it? It was, there we go. As Carrie mentioned then, about energies attaching themselves to things. Because they say like when you're receiving gifts like crystals, you're supposed to cleanse a crystal and then sort of, I guess it's like a fresh crystal then. But it happened to me once. Obviously no fault of the person's own. They ended up just giving me this crystal as a gift, but not realising it wasn't cleansed. So I didn't think anything of it. I was still sort of new into learning things about energies, and whatever was on the crystal was affecting me. It was weird. It was weird how your mindset changes. Because I put it on my chain, didn't think anything of it, but I was feeling depressed, I was feeling angry, I was agitated all the time, and this happened for about 4 weeks. And then I decided to take the crystal off the necklace, and I was talking to a medium about it, and they were saying about cleansing it, how to cleanse it, but I just got rid of it. I thought, even if I cleansed it, it's still something about it makes me feel uneasy because of how I was feeling, and obviously the things I was experiencing wasn't very nice. So I think, even though it's not a cursed object, it's still got the energy of affecting you, you know. Even giving things in a positive way, giving something nice, you sometimes feel the energies off it. When you go into, because one of the things is interesting, like the Regent, which I'm going to talk about as well over the course of the episode. So the Regent, where we're holding our event in February, is also an antique shop. So as well as the energy of the building and what's in the building, there's also the whoever's owned these antiques in the past, like everything from jewelry to cutlery and pictures and things. So again, the energy's on there. So that's going to be a big build up as well of different energies, and what you probably may even pick up, which is nothing to do with the building, but because it's attached to, for example, a picture or something, it's going to affect in regards to the energy of the building. So it's definitely an interesting story. And again, part of me I think the rational mind is naturally, well, is it just a coincidence that something happened to somebody within a cursed object? Sorry guys, I've got a really dry mouth this evening. But the only time I've had a real dodgy feeling about a curse or something is when I was in a museum and a mummy in the glass lol. Had a feeling of not to touch, not to look. It was too freaky. See, I think it's weird that, because I remember me and my wife went to a museum in Liverpool, and they've got a mummy, and there you can look at it. It's a bit weird, but yeah, there's a weird vibe. I'll definitely agree on that one, because obviously as well with them, when there was embalmed and stuff, obviously they said all these prayers over him, and naturally the thing is not to disrupt the dead, is it, and start digging people up, but it makes you think obviously what they were blessed with or what the prayers were said. That happens a lot. This happens a lot. Different energies, even from gifts, even like jewelry, things like that can have negative energy from the person before. Well, this is it, because I remember talking to my wife, and we was in the shop, and I didn't realize at the time it was like second-hand jewelry. But I'm just like, and they were selling wedding rings. It wasn't long before we got married, actually, and I'm like, there's no chance I'm buying a second-hand wedding ring, because this obviously it's sold there for a reason, but there's also what energy it does have on the ring, which again, and you don't know also where this jewelry's come from, who's had it, things like that. I definitely agree, and as I mentioned about the crystal. Good evening, Irene. I hope you're doing okay. Uh, so, ah, Carrie's answered it. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, Sage. I was also told about like basically running it under like a cold tap and then putting it in the window, or so then the sunlight and the moonlight recharges the crystal. That was another thing I was told. Because I know a few people mentioned as well about obviously the moon, with the energy from the moon is, especially living in Blackpool, if you park up on the prom and having the crystals on the dashboard of the car, that's what someone else said to me, sort of charging them up, from the sea and the energy around there. But yeah, because there's with it in regards as well to other sort of cursed objects in that sense is mirrors. It's always interested me this. Thankfully, I've never come across anything like this. And because even we've got a few comments in regards to mirrors. Sorry, another thing, I've always found mirrors creepy. I don't know about anybody else, because I've got one in the bedroom, but I never look at it in the bedroom unless it's daylight. But if I'm laying in bed, and because it's on this side of the wall, so my room's above here, so the door is in this more or less the same place, and I'm always like, don't look over that way. I always turn the other way. Definitely creep me out. I don't know what other people feel about mirrors in bedrooms, but in the daytime, absolutely fine. It's It's definitely weirds me out a bit. But even like say in regards to mirrors, like people having experiences. I know there was one um, in regards to. Think it might have been on Ghost Adventures. It was said on this. I think it was, but there was one about the mirror which belonged to the captain of the Titanic, and this mirror was passed down to somebody else, and then it was passed to somebody else, and then they used to see the captain. I think it was the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic or something along them lines. That he used to stand in the mirror, and on the anniversary you'd see him in the mirror. And that got passed around a few times to where it was. I think they got rid of it. I think they ended up burying it. I think it was. Yeah, full moon. That was it. Yeah, I was. See, I don't really work with crystals. I did buy some. Um, was it a couple of months ago? But I've never really worked with crystals. See, and that's would be worth getting somebody on. Obviously talking about crystals as well. And he said, I won't have a mirror in my bedroom where I can see it from my bed. I'm exactly the same. Like I say, it always freaks me out. We have a mirror that, wow, 110 years old. And bring it with us, let you have a look, nosy. See, that's cool. And I was, as freaky as they are, it's amazing to like, what, especially being that old, all the people who've looked in this mirror. I know the way it's been passed around and wherever it's been stood in different places. Because many of you know I'm a big Elvis fan, and they was talking about this one particular mirror which has been hung up since Elvis bought Graceland back in the 50s. To this day, it's never moved in the same place, and it's in the room where Elvis had some of the parties and stuff. And like all the stories, what could be held, should I say, in this mirror is pretty impressive. So I'm definitely interested. Carrie, have you ever done scrying or anything in the mirror? Because that's something I've always done it once. It's when I was at Blackpool Church, and Ronnie did it with us, so he stood behind us, and I saw my granddad. It was pretty overwhelming and pretty immense because his face completely changed. It was awesome. Hmm. Yeah, I'm the same. Old buildings and stuff. Always enjoy history. Me and my daughter actually went for a drive today, but everywhere was shut because my aim was we was looking for a particular place where we were going to do an investigation, but it was like in the middle of this field and there was nowhere to park. And then we thought, well, we'll go somewhere else and go the grounds, and yeah, it was everywhere was shut today, so we didn't go to plan. But has anyone else got anything they'd like to add in regards to cursed objects? Like I said, we're going to do probably a full episode on one of the Tuesdays. And like I say, we'll get someone on to talk about that as well, because I think it's definitely an interesting. Carrie, yeah, I have, but I didn't get much. But it depends on the person and the place you're doing it. Marcus, okay. The famous story, which is so unreal, is that Bella Lugosi's, I hope I said that right. Mirror Ghost Adventures have it now. Ah, is that the one with the dude that was belonging to the captain of the Titanic? Is that the mirror? I knew the story, but I couldn't. I thought it was on Ghost Adventures. There's another. Funny enough, talking about programs, I ended up watching was Jack Osborne and Kelly Osborne, and they went to the was it Queen Mary ship. There's like one guy lives on it on his own now. It's not a hotel anymore. You can stay there for ghost hunts, but he owns a whole ship and just lives there by himself. And some of the things they got was quite creepy. Just a very, very eerie place, no matter what, anyway. But that'd be a cool place to investigate. I know. Remember when Richard Felix come on, and when I got to interview him, and he was saying that was one of the freakiest places he'd stayed. I've done it once. I went to the Sea Life Centre. It was quiet, so I sat down and looked into the water in one spot. Saw 3 faces, 2 men and a woman. So that's cool. See, again, working with water as well. Yeah, that's what. Excuse me, sorry guys. Very dry mouth. Like I said, I've only done it the once. I remember Jay telling us a story as well. With his fella, and he went to on an investigation somewhere in Manchester, and they did the scrying and face for changing for fun in the mirror. No, that was a mirror which is said to be cursed by the spirit of Bella. People have passed out just back. All right, okay. All right, sorry. That's creepy. See, I remember when we was when we went to Vegas, it was like, I really want to go to the museum, to Zach Bagans Museum, and experience it. But then I was just like, sometimes you get that feeling of someone saying, don't go. And my gut feeling was like, this is probably not a good idea. And then I was reading some of the reviews, um, and like, because I know you have to sign a waiver before you go in. And I'm genuinely really interested in, obviously, the stuff he's got in there. But like you say, I just had this feeling that not to go. And then after I read the reviews and people were saying that they went back to the hotels and they're waking up in the middle of the night and seeing shadows and things stood over them. So I'm like, is it really the safest place to go? Um, but I think if I was with a few other people and like so obviously Mark and Carrie and Denise, obviously having a medium with us, it might be a bit different, a bit more protection then. But yeah, I was a bit apprehensive, but I'm gutted as well at the same time. I didn't go. Yeah, water scrying. I'm going to try. That was more. That's another type of scrying. Well, I remember my granddad didn't work with water, but he used to have sand. And on my reading, when he used to obviously on a lot of readings, he used to have a white plate with sand on, and then he'd just mess it up, and then he'd read. He'd obviously read what he saw, but honestly, I was amazed. I still remember the reading he gave me, and messing the sand up. And to me, it just looked like it just waves in the sand. It didn't look like anything in particular. And when he's reading it, like meerkats and about a giraffe, and all these things coming through, and about honestly, I was like, wow. You can just see that from looking at the sand. And then he, of course, gave me. So I didn't even realise my cat's led on the table. I nearly had a heart attack. Um, then obviously the crystal ball I've got, which was obviously belonged to my granddad. So that's something I do want to work with. I've tried it in the past, that like when practicing readings and stuff, and then you're getting people to hold it, so you're reading the energy. But I'd like to really try that properly once. So yeah, right. So my cats, we have a table here. So the room's slightly changed since obviously one of the last podcasts when we sat in front of the green screen. Because obviously it's still got a bit of Christmas stuff in here. It's a bit of a mess. But I keep coming home and then I'm like, why's the cat in here? Why does she keep disappearing to? And I just see her walk out and then she's actually lying on the table on the placemats. Yeah, I ate eggs, staring at the Christmas tree. But she's got a bit funny recently. She keeps staring at the stairs. I think it would be amazing to go. Anyway, back to it. That's me waffling. Yeah, I think maybe I do. Maybe let's say that was a couple of years ago. So maybe being now it's a couple of years on and feeling, I guess, a bit more. I guess doing this a bit more often and sort of developing a bit more. Maybe that would help because you're not as open. I think maybe. Well, who knows? But it'd definitely be worth. We'll do a bigger paranormal living trip where we'll all go. We'll all experience it. um, so yeah, so that's on obviously on the cursed objects. So there's another few things I did want to talk about as well in the course of this episode. So obviously we have the podcast, which is I'm going to start doing more regular as well. Like I say, that's released on Mondays. So then you can get us on Apple, Google, and Podbean. Have a listen. It's just me talking about different topics as well. So it's a bit different to this because it's obviously recorded the day before. And investigations as well. Oh, we do have a comment here. Buddy creator. But every time you mention your granddad, things happen. It's very true. He I haven't I'm gonna tell you all the story now. Bailey. Let me get the bag. Sorry, just the cat. So I spoke about this on the podcast yesterday when I released it, but trying to describe what happened is hard work when I can't show you. So this is the bag. Let me just show you exactly what happened. Honestly, this is mental. So talking about my granddad. So yes, obviously my granddad's around me a lot and helps me a lot. And obviously, as you all saw with the table tipping, he was very active, wasn't he? So this is a bag I use for. It's got all my cards in, everything. It's an old bag. So it's always shut. And the other was it the week of Christmas. Yeah, because it's a week after we did the last class with Denise. I picked the bag up like this. So as you can see, nothing's going to fall out. I picked the bag up and all the cards no word of lie, like a magic trick, come flying out. But they were these cards. So even inside. So obviously that's the inside. But these are my granddad's cards. But these cards come flying out everywhere like a magic trick. Literally, all I did was pick up the bag. They come flying out. You know, like I always say, like magicians when they make the cards fly out. That's exactly what happened. And I was like, oh. So I said an explicit word. And then my wife come running in. She's like, what's up? I'm like, oh, the cards have dropped out everywhere. And then I noticed I was missing some by quite a lot. So yeah, so there we go. So once I'd picked them all up, as you can see, there's quite a few missing. So I'm like, where'd they all gone? I must have put them down. Checked my house, checked the car, looked everywhere, couldn't find them. And I messaged Denise, said, I think I've left the cards at class. Couldn't find them anywhere. So then she spoke to Heather, who owns a salon, who's in the class with me. She couldn't find the cards. So I'm like, oh, I hope I dropped them. But the weirdest thing is, I always put the bag in the passenger seat next to me, just so it don't fall on the floor. I always like it next to me. So then, obviously, couldn't find him at the salon. So then I rang my mum. My mum ends up leaving from her house, sorry. So it's about a 20-minute drive, max, 15, 20 minutes. So then she goes, and I told her where I parked. She retraced my steps. Couldn't find her. She started even talking to strangers, saying, have you seen these tarot cards? I'm like, nope, no one can find anything. I'm like, oh, great. So then I end up joining a Facebook page, you know, obviously showing a picture of the card, saying, has anyone seen any of these in this area? No one's seen them. And then Dean's like, have you checked your car? I'm like, yeah, I've had a look in the car. They're definitely not there. So I clean my car, looked under the chairs, everywhere, couldn't find them. And then I end up driving over, retraced where I was parked, definitely not there. So I'm like, great, I've lost them. So obviously I was annoyed, upset. So I ended up obviously asking my granddad, I'm like, please, like, bring the cards back, some one way or another. Prayed to St. Jude, obviously he's like the saint for lost causes. And I'm just like, I can't find them. And then it was literally the day before New Year's Eve. I think it was the day before New Year's Eve. Yeah, it was the 30th. And I gone to Asda. And I was when I parked up, I was on the phone to Mum, got my daughter out of the car, opened the door, and the full remaining cards, which are these ones, were in the side door behind the driver's side, in the passenger door behind the driver's, yeah. But the weird thing is, nobody sits in that seat. Because only people in that car is mainly me and my daughter, and her seat's on the opposite end. And I was like, right, okay, that's weird, because the bag, like as I mentioned, was next to me in the car. And I don't put it in another seat. So I'm like, how? Literally unexplainable. But if they wouldn't have come flying out of the bag like they did, I obviously never would have realised. I would have lost some of the cards or misplaced them. And yeah, they was in the passenger door behind the driver's seat. Don't know how they got there, because it naturally shouldn't have got there. And yeah, pretty unexplainable, but very thankful for them returning. Honestly, I don't know how, but yeah, these are my granddad's. Very old school cards, you know. Oh, so lucky to get them back, and I'm like, I finally got the pack back. Because like you guys will realise, it's things like this, they're like irreplaceable. If it was just a pack of my cards, I would have been like, oh, it'd be fine, I'll just get a new one. But because obviously belonging to my granddad, yeah. So that was my interesting week, stressful week, but so they're what make of cards are these? Let me find out. I did try to Google them. So the cards on top, I bet I've misplaced it all now. What am we? Oh, there they are. So, oh, I mixed them up. Never mind. Oh no, not got them. I thought I mixed them up. Sorry. So yeah, the cards. It's very old school tarot cards. R&G. There's but yeah, these are ones honestly my granddad used in so many readings, as you can imagine, over the years. But yeah, they're very, very, very old. I think Someone commented saying about 1970s. So you can imagine like the many readings he would have done with all these cards. But and when I first got them, I couldn't read them. Just because, for example, I've got this back here because of oh, the cards that were missing. So the cards that went missing, sorry, were the ones I was using in class. So this is what I don't understand. So we've done this exercise with tarot cards, and I'd had a couple out, and obviously I put the rest of them back in the bag, and then the ones I was also using, which was these ones, back in the bag. And for some reason, them, however many, yeah, I think it's about 20 or something, ended up not back in the bag. Oh, my mum's on now. They ended up back in. Naturally, would have put them back in the bag, sorry, but I didn't, and then they randomly appear. But we was doing a thing with tarot cards reading. So basically, Denise gave us an envelope, and then she put a film inside, and then you had to read the film. So using the cards, asking the cards and stuff. So that's how it worked. But yeah, but these are the ones. But like I said, originally when I got them, I couldn't read them, and I was like, I don't know how to read these. And then do a reading with one of the ones that went missing. Can do. But it wasn't until I was told how to read them. Like Denise gave me a hand into sort of reading with them a bit. But we've got a few comments here. Was there any cards that were standing out to you? Could have been a message, and the thing is, you asked your granddad to get them back to you. He would give them back. Yeah. Only the cards that went missing. They're definitely 70s. The only set he ever used. Yeah. Do you know where you got them from, Mum? Did he buy them or were they gifted or something? I was doing reading with only the ones. So, right, yeah. So, shall we give him a shuffle? So fragile, the box. Okay. But like as I was saying, Mum, about it, like just you went there to the shop. Everyone's looking everywhere, and then they turn out to be in the door behind my side where no one sits, and the bag's never put there. Okay. You know what? So we're talking, Carrie, as you mentioned then about the thing, and this just reminds me of In Search of the Cards, because the first card out of that pack, out of the ones what went missing, is praying, and praying like as praying to the higher power, which you got a bowl patch like me. But on a serious note, it's like praying and you will be heard, and praying for wanting something. The cat. Let me jump now. And here's the next one. There was a thing for this card, and it's what's the word? I'd take that more as especially at the moment, it can like strength. You know, you're feeling confident now. Open, you know. Let me just move this thing out of the way. What's the word? I can't think of the word, and it's annoying me about like opening. You know, not the lion's mouth, but you might get the point I make. And then there is money coming in with a female, which makes a lot of sense, especially at the minute. But this is what I find amazing. It's like because I was talking about this on the podcast, and it's like every card you get, in obviously different readings, it means something completely different. And like one cup on its own, and I think sometimes, you know, it's a matter about sort of thinking about yourself and being more. See, to me, that the way that feels at the minute is like being on your own. It's feeling a bit lost. I felt lost without the cards. I couldn't get anywhere. I got a feeling from that last card of being unsure. I would say don't be unsure if that's on your mind. Yeah, well, and the more cups come in. So again, it's about, I think that's coming out of yourself as well. Which I can obviously means quite a bit this morning. The line one is different, like someone's mouth is open when it shouldn't be. Well, that definitely makes a lot of sense, Carrie. I can tell that. It does make spin down. I do. I'm a nightmare for it. Always have been. I think you guys because that's one of my aims this year is to start going. See, I'd take that as strength, like a strength card. You know, like what's the word? You know, like a what are they called? Like a rod. You know, make a rod. Is it make a rod for your own back? Is that the saying? Things are coming in, and then you're getting stronger. You know, things are looking better. And the moon. So it just reminds me. Sorry, that reminds me of like a teacher, but you've also got the moon as well. It's like a quarter moon. So the learning's coming in. And again, we're getting these as well, like getting stronger again. Like the rods holding you up, make you. The way I feel about just talking then is like believing a bit more. Ah, okay. We're saying about teaching as well, yeah, because obviously that makes sense. But if what I've seen and felt from you is don't doubt yourself. Your path where you're now going is right. It's for the right reasons, but keep going and believing in yourself. Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a nightmare for it. It's I think I don't know. I think like you said, just need to trust more. But then good the money. The travels are starting, and we've got more money. The coins are coming in, but I also not necessarily money. But you know what randomly just come to my mind was like a slot machine, and all that when you're on a ride and you're putting another 20p in to go around again. But yeah, that's what that reminds me of. You know, I only saw this card as well for the first time a couple of weeks ago because I'd never seen this. Um, never come through the pack before. But I also feel like that's being wary of someone. You know, it reminded me when I remember saying about it, like the wicked stepmother kind of thing. Um, but you've got to be careful because people can tie you down. But I do think once you learn that, things start blossoming because he's got the flower is rising, the flowers coming through. What's it? I just say on the top. Child. No, that's not blonde. We have more cups, but at the top it actually says faith. Yeah, 100% don't be drawn to do what you don't feel is right. Yeah, see, I think that's the thing. I'm definitely, um, the way I feel for this year. I'm excited for this year. I think it's also changing people around you. I think as well. Hence, mouth being open. Just focus on you and your plans, believing in yourself, and trusting your own gut. It's the hardest thing to do, but once you've got it, you're flying. Yeah, I agree there. I think as well. I think my issue is as well with the doubting situation is, when do you know the time's right? Rather than just my issue. I feel like I have to be told like now you can do it, rather than sack it, let's do it, let's start the road. That's the issue I've had. Oh, Betty, hope you're doing okay. Hope you're doing all right. Happy New Year and all the best. I send our regards and love to you. Be careful who you tell your plans. That is very true. As Grandad always used to say, don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. And I still use that saying to this day, and even in readings, it's come out like that. I've seen this card before. I can't actually remember what it means. But I remember seeing it about the dogs barking at the moon. Apologies if you can hear Eleanor. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I think that's my aim this year. I believe in myself a lot more. I think, funnily enough, this is how this has just come. So I had that card. So obviously the dog's barking at the moon. So I think it's also, and I know my mum said not everyone's your friend and don't tell your plans, but it could also mean like it just reminded me then as I was looking at it about like other people taking over, other people saying stuff, and you're the one sort of in the background. You're not the one barking. You're the one going, all right, okay, yeah, I'll let you do it, kind of thing. But then obviously once you get through that, you're feeling strong, and then obviously you've got the sword, and I feel that's where we will get to. You know, when you're confident, you're feeling good, you got through the bad bits to get to the good, and I think that's when you're sort of on the move. And again, this is the next one, and if you know the sword is now changed to, I don't know, whatever you call them, but you know what I mean. You're higher up now. You're getting there. Get yourself a rose quartz. It's a self crystal for self love. Okay, I'll have a look. There's a shop. I will go tomorrow and have a look. There's a shop in Blackpool that sell crystals and cards and all that stuff. So I will have a look into the last card, which is the workshop. So again, we're working, keep moving, but once we get there, new the learning continues. We never do stop learning. Irene, yeah, absolutely, 100%. The in regards to that, so I know people who've had experiences where you know animals have passed, like cats, dogs, and then even Bob was talking about it. Bobby does come on the show before, where he was seeing the Mika, their Staffy, who passed away. He was seeing the dog at the end of the bed for quite some time, and he was waking up at all hours, and he'd see the dog in the room. And my granddad, one of his dogs, my mum is on as well. He saw one of his dogs, I'm not sure which one it was, which jumped over the settee. So he'd had these experiences, and people hearing the barks and stuff. So 100% believe that your pets are there waiting for you, and when you go over, they will greet you as you enter the spirit world. And I saw a video. It was on TikTok. It was like, this is what heaven looks like, and it was a dog running to the owner, and it was just like, what a lovely way to think about that. Like once you get there, and you know your pets are running towards you, and you give it and all that love, you know, that eternal love. You know, they never forget that. And like you say, they are there waiting for you. And like you say, people do have the experiences where their animals make themselves aware in the house even after they have passed. Uh, I have a bit beside my bed, bigger than my head. All right, good crystal. I know what you mean. Me and Carrie have been through a few people who thought were close to us. That wasn't the case. As I've told you before, keep doing what you're doing. Well, mate, we never stopped learning. There was just before New Year, and you know when you do your bit of look back, and you're like stuff. I'm like it was that the saying what kept going through my head was like, friends may come and friends may go, and it was like that, and it's very true, mate. There's people I thought who were genuine, really good friends, and then stop talking to you for no reason. You never done anything wrong. We'll never know what we did wrong, but for some reason they think we did, and stop talking to you, and then things happen, don't they? I guess. But yeah, totally, totally agree there, mate. Yeah, it can be tough. It's very true. Well, it's the joys of learning. We're all on a learning curve. So, to move on from our little tarot thing. So, I did, like I said, I did talk about tarot cards on the last podcast. But I want to show you these quickly. So,
Love you, Daddy.
You go to bed?
Yeah.
Love you, Dad.
And we're going on the bed and we're going and we're going to watch it. We need to find it on YouTube.
Okay.
Right, come on. So we're going to bed.
Alright, love you.
Good night, Daddy.
Night, night, baby. Love you. First day back at school tomorrow. She's excited. She probably won't sleep tonight. So, so before I got my granddad's cards, like I said, I was struggling to read them because I didn't really know how to work with them. And then it was these ones I actually bought because I thought it was easier to read the picture. So I think definitely as a starting one, these were the ones. I was talking about these on the podcast yesterday. So sometimes I do mix them in with my my granddad's cards as well. But if you're out after some cards, these are definitely worth a shout. I do like them cards. All things happen for a reason, mate. Honestly, 100% agree. I've always agreed on that one. The people that aren't meant to be in your life will be there, and the ones that aren't there lost it. Let me bring that up. The people that aren't meant to be on your life will be there. And the ones that aren't, they're lost in my eyes. Totally agree. She's adorable. Yeah, she's only 5. But yeah, she's excited for school tomorrow. It's her first day back. So she's excited all day. And we're getting a dog in 2 weeks. So she's excited as well. So every day she's been waking up. Obviously we took her to see the dog. But because we're away next week, so obviously can't do it. And every day she's been getting up saying, come and see Alfie. Come and see. I gather, I know what you mean, Karen. The people that are meant to be on your life will be there, yeah. And say we're getting a dog, so she's every morning she's waking up, come and get Alfie. She's called him Alfie, little French bulldog. So you'll see him on the next live. He will I'll make appearance, and you never know, he might join us on some investigations. We can have our own little Alfie the spirit dog. So yeah, that was what I was going to say anyway. So how we do? Yeah, we do. We've got about 10 minutes left. So as many of you've seen, tickets are still on sale. Here we go. I'm excited for this. So Mark and Carrie are due to be coming along with us, and a friend of theirs, I forgot her name, so I do apologise. Yes, a little friendship. We have our first event at Paranormal Living, so I'm well excited for this because it's one thing we've been talking about for a while and been wanting to do is put events on, because I know a few people out do want to join us. So tickets are on sale, like you say. Now you can go on ticketsource.co.uk/paranormal living. Easy to find. Tickets are only £25. There is a car park directly across the road from the Regent Cinema, which I think is free parking after a certain time, so even better. So that is Saturday the 26th of February, 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. So it's going to be a great night. I did get to go in once, and it was when I interviewed Stephen Mercer right at the back when we started doing the podcast, and the place is awesome. It's got a cool vibe about it. And then when Stephen was telling me some of the stories about what people have seen, experienced, and this is what I was saying as well, it is an antique shop now, so there is other energy, no doubt, in there, in the building, and what you can pick up on. But I'm really, really excited for this, and I'm looking forward to even if we have to swim over, we're doing it. Oh, honestly, guys, I can't wait. Like I said, I've been wanting to do events and been wanting to do this place, so I do hope you can join us, guys, and come and be a part of our first Paranormal Living investigation. And then obviously, all being well, we will get a few more set up this year and a few different locations as well. but this will be the first one, and we're gonna have a bit of a printout for you so you can know a bit of history about the place if you want to read it, and then we'll obviously be putting you out in groups, and then obviously we'll then all be going on a big vigil together. Obviously, Mark's coming over with Carrie, and Denise will be joining us as well. So it's going to be an exciting night, and I can't wait. Oh, thank you for the love arts, everybody. It's very much appreciated. It's good to be back, and like you said, because we're so busy over the past like month and a half, I just had a chance to keep doing the lives regular. So obviously we won't be back next week, but then the following Tuesday, every week, 7:30, we'll be live. As I mentioned, we've got a few interviews lined up, and yeah, that is fine, Carrie. I'll get that sorted for you. Don't worry. Oh. And then we, like you said, we've got a few interviews lined up, as well as other things going to go on. And then investigations, that's what I was going to talk about. So, I'll wait for you at North Pier at Blackpool as I wave you in as you come swimming over. Investigations. So, the plan is, so we've got once a month. So, I think the end of this month will be the first one, all being well. We're going to do another table tipping session again, because that was pretty immense, the last one with Denise. We're just going to get the date sorted, and then I can just see the laughing faces come up on my screen, and we're going to do another session with the table, and I know my mum will be joining us. I think my sister-in-law's coming as well, and then hopefully, like you guys watching again, because I know a few people got messages, didn't they, last time? It was phenomenal. One of the best experiences probably had to this day, and so we do have that planned, and then again another once a month we're gonna have different what's the word, experimental evenings we're gonna do. So that is planned, and then we're gonna do investigations. We're probably gonna go to once every week, once every couple of weeks, obviously depending on schedules. But I do want to do some live investigations again, and then of course we're gonna sort out things where we can go to like East Drive. Obviously, with me, Mark and Carrie spoke about the ancient Brahmin. So these are the things what are going to be planned for this year, and obviously I'm excited. And then one of the other things I want to do as well is get the webcam set up. So when we're in a location, you don't have to always watch the live. You can see the different rooms, and if we have different things set up, so that is something we are working on to be able to put together. And then it'll be like a proper live, and it's going to be exciting. So this year, as I mentioned, bigger and better, and more to look forward to, and I can't wait. Sam, hey Sam, you okay? Well, funny enough, talking about the table tipping, because I know Sam did get a message on that live. Change subjects like, can I ask, can random spirits come to you in your dreams for help? Yes, absolutely. And the funny thing is, I know people that's happened to, and then they ended up helping spirits as well. Did you? I know you said random, but did you recognise the person at Hall? At Hall? That's all. Can't talk. As Gary said there. Yes, totally can. Totally. Spirits that love help the same as we do. Well, I think the thing is as well, when you, I don't know what Eleanor's doing upstairs. Sounds like she's running around. I find them sometimes when you're dreaming, or you have them nights when you're quite open up, even though you're asleep, or you're in the half and half. It's like setting a light off, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll talk to you," and that's what I do believe happens. Rebecca, good evening. Hope you're doing okay. Oh, it was a little girl, dressed very old. Right, okay. I think maybe send us a message on the page once I've finished, and we'll have a chat. But I think things like that, maybe worth before you go to sleep is just ask a question, or see. Best one thing I will say: see what happens tonight, or how regular it is, and then as soon as you wake up in the morning, if you remember it, just write it down, and then it could become a story then, and you have an idea of what they need help with, or it could just be a spirit guide as well, sometimes coming through. But it's definitely have a think tonight, obviously, before you go to sleep, and then in the morning just write down what you remember, and obviously if you've had a few more experiences of that over the past few weeks, has it happened often, or is this the first time? Okay, I had a little boy dressed all sitting on my bed, but in a dream he told me his name was Chancey. I've never heard that name. Oh wow. Because I know there is stories, isn't there, like of experiences. Sorry, not stories. Experiences people had where that's become their line of work is helping spirit world, like that. You know, so when they've gone to sleep, they've gone on these like rescues and stuff. Because I do remember actually watching a live on, and this happened a few times when I was on TikTok, watching a couple of lives from different investigations, and I ended up dozing off, even though I was wide awake and the phone wouldn't drop out of my hand. And then I'd end up in the place where they are. And I do remember this guy was in a tunnel, and I think he was doing a Ouija board. He was doing something like that anyway. And I didn't like it. And I ended up dozing off. And then I could see that it was a young girl, and she had like a, oh, I don't know, like a Victorian style. You know, she had like this hairpiece on, and she was like sat down and crying and stuff. It happened a few times, but I never seen it since. First time in my dream was the little girl. Hmm. Yeah, she said anything to you? Because, like I was saying, then it might be worth writing these down and seeing what comes through again. Hmm. Helping spirits cross over to see loved ones is an amazing feeling when you're lucky enough to have spirit come to you. Absolutely. I should do. I don't. I'm telling obviously Sam about it, but I'm bad when it comes to stuff like that. Although I do have my work and stuff I've done, but things like that I probably should write down. Hmm. Irene there. Sam, I hope you helped. Yeah. Just wait for the comment. Here we go. No, she didn't say anything. I just knew I needed to help her get out of this building we were in. Now it was not a good place for children. We ran and ran down a flight of stairs. We got to the bottom. She jumped, then vanished. Wow. Again, you know, in that situation, there's not. She needs that help, and then obviously you come forward. You know, taking her out of that place. You take through that door, or as you mentioned, you got to the bottom of the stairs, and maybe she felt like she was struggling to get there, and she needed someone else to sort of take her with her. That's awesome, though. I've seen things in my dreams becoming relevant a year later. Yeah, well, we was I can't remember the dream now, but my brother had a dream, and not that long ago, funnily enough, and everything come into fruition. And there was something I was saying to my mum. I honestly can't remember now. And then it all sort of transpired that it all made sense within a couple of weeks. It was weird. Amazing how dreams work. Yeah, definitely. I agree there. As I said, Sam, just keep writing it down, the experiences and stuff. You say that might be a calling for you. Like I said, I know some people have had, that's how they work with spirit. It's more on a rescue basis rather than standing up and giving messages and things. Oh, honestly, guys, I've absolutely loved this life. It's been well good. Um, obviously, we haven't been on topic properly, but I drank this a week ago. I drank this a week or two ago. Now I can see it all still very vividly. See, this is the thing. This is what they say. I was watching something about dreams and people's experiences in dreams with spirit world and stuff, and the fact that you remember it vividly as well, and it's so strong in your memory is like it's real. It's like they say when you see a loved one in a dream. Excuse me, and I remember talking about this. I'm like, it's them. you know, it's not just you wake up and you're like, I've literally seen him. You can feel the love, you can feel everything about it, and it's you know, it's real and it's unexplainable. And I think when you have one of them random dreams which don't mean anything, it's been and gone and you forget about it. But when it's a genuine, real experience, I 100% believe that's why you remember it vividly. And even to this day, you remember certain things. But thank you very much, Sam, for sharing that with us as well. Like, say anyone who wants to share any experiences, you know, please do. It's really interesting, and I really appreciate you getting involved as well. But yeah, keep on Sam. Keep us informed as well. Keep us updated. If it happens again, and like Carrie was saying, if that, keep a sort of a log of it and what comes through, and let us know. That's a weird thing. I've never felt a loved one around me. Always seems strange to me. Oh really? Yeah, see, I remember one specific dream, and this is what made me laugh. And this is a long time, not a long time ago, but quite a while ago. And all I remember of this dream, I was in my granddad's house, how it used to look, and my nana was in the kitchen, and she was baking because my nana always used to bake, and she didn't. I couldn't see her face, but I knew it was her from behind. And I went to put my hand around, and she slapped me on the hand and told me off. Um, and then I went into the front room, and my granddad was sat there with his glasses on, watching the TV. But you just again woke up, remember that dream was clear as day, and you just know it's weird. Can't explain it. Although I tell you, actually, something weird what happened the other day was it felt like someone had slapped me on the head. It's happened once before, and it was the other day. I can't remember what the dream was about. It was something random, but I do remember waking up and feeling pressure on my head and like as if someone had slapped me. But I do believe that sometimes spirit shutting you down if you're a bit open. Very weird. Feel like an orphan in the spirit world. It's this is what I love about, like you say again, everyone's experiences are different, and it's yeah, it's weird. Honestly, Mark, it's weird. It's I take the time before that happened. It was we went to that Marlow Lodge Hotel, and we come home, and I knew something weren't right, but I didn't shut myself down properly. Should have done. But I went to bed because I was knackered, and I remember like leaving the hotel, and everyone looked creeped out, and to the point where I said to my mate, and we still talk about it to this day. I'm like, I've never seen you so petrified in my life. And after we left, he didn't sleep all night. You know, could hear stuff. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night and something going smack, like full on wallop me on the top of my head. Woke me up. Turned to my wife and said, "If you just smacked me on the head," it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. She's like, "No, why?" Like something literally just slapped me on the hit full wallop on the top of my head. Well, but it's like here where they say like your crown chakra is, like your crown chakra in at the top one. I think. And it's like very weird. That's me stopping back. Right, guys. Well, it has come to the end of this week's episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and it's great to be back. Like you said, we don't have one next week. Unfortunately, I am away, but the following Tuesday we'll be back to normal, and every Tuesday we'll put, as I mentioned, the Tuesday after we're going to sort of talk about Alcatraz and sort of famous places like that, and you know, hauntings, what have happened there, and people's thoughts, and obviously all your thoughts as well as the question of the week. So thank you very much for tuning in. Obviously, all your comments and Sam wants to sharing your experience with us. And don't forget, Mark is on with us, and Carrie, of course. Paranormal Technology. Make sure you check them out, guys. It's fantastic stuff, and as you've seen on all our lives, all our equipment is from there, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And like you say, showing that you've liked our page, you get 10% off your first order. So absolute win-win. And as well, don't forget our paranormal investigation on the 26th of February. We tickets are £25. They are on sale. There's only a few left. I say a few left. There's like a limited amount, should I say, left. So make sure you get your tickets in and come for an interesting evening. Obviously, Mark and Carrie will be with us, Denise as well. So it's all exciting. So thank you so much, guys. Honestly, Irene, Anita, thank you. Cheers, Carrie. Mark, thank you very much, pal. So stay safe, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll try and get a live in this week before I go away. I will keep you all informed because I really want to do another investigation because it has been a while. But I'll put a post out anyway, let you all know. So stay safe, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever you have planned. Again, thank you very much for tuning in and joining in, and obviously, like I say, sharing your experience, and it's been awesome. So stay safe. I will see you all soon. Love and light. As I was saying, there we go. Love and light. Adios, everyone. Stay safe, guys.